Hey guys, it's Janice. Today I'm going to show you guys my after school study routine, and this video is a collaboration with Revising on YouTube, so stay tuned to the end of the video to find out more. My school ends at 4 o'clock and I usually get home at around 4:30, and when I get home I will first go on my phone because we don't get to keep our phones with us during the school day, so I'll just check up on my social media accounts and stuff when I get home. And a few days ago, I started an Instagram account called Everything Janis, which is the same name as my YouTube account. And on this account, I'll just be posting, study pictures of my bullet journal, and like the classic studygram stuff. So if you're interested, you can follow me on Instagram, which is at Everything Janis. And anyway, I will usually relax for half an hour before I get started with my work at 5 o'clock. And the first thing I do is to take out my bullet journal and see what homework I have to hand in the next day or in the weekend, and just write down my to-do list with all the stuff I have to finish that evening. On this day, I didn't really have any homework I needed to do, but I had to study for 2 tests the next day, which was a chemistry test and an English test, so I just spent most of the evening studying for those 2 subjects. And the first thing you can see me doing here is doing the chapter exercise at the back of my chemistry textbook. So I'm just going through all the questions and answering them and checking the answers on my computer. And if I get the answer right, I'll cross out the question with a pencil. And if I get the question wrong or I don't know how to do the question, then I will highlight the question with my pink highlighter, so I can just keep track of what I still don't know about the chemistry chapter and study that information. At 5:35, I started studying for one of my poems I needed to be tested on the next day, and here I'm studying Desert Places by Robert Frost. So I had already written some notes on the poems a few days ago, so I was just going through all those notes again and highlighting the important points such as the tone of the poem or like any other keywords I need to know, and I did this all the way until dinner time. At 6 o'clock, I had dinner with my family, which I forgot to film, so here's just what our food looked like after we finished our meal. And after dinner, I will usually eat some fruit and then watch the news with my family. I try to keep up the routine of watching the news every evening because at school we study a subject called liberal studies, which basically requires you to know everything that's happening around the world. And so I try to watch the news to keep updated on what's happening locally and also internationally, so I can have examples to use when I answer questions for liberal studies. After dinner, I went back to my poetry for my English literature class, and I also used my computer to search up any terms I didn't know, such as the poetic devices. After that, I actually took a break from studying because I went on my school website and found out that they actually uploaded the school syllabus for my second term exam, and so I just took out my bullet journal and wrote down the entire syllabus for the exams I'm taking in 2 weeks. And if you're wondering about this spread, I actually made a video on how to make an exam study schedule earlier, so I'll put the link to that video in the description so you can find out how I made this spread and also plan for my exams using a calendar. But anyway, I just wrote down the entire syllabus for my exams and took a break for around 15 minutes. At 8 o'clock, I started making my chemistry study guides, and I usually make my study guides in Evernote where I will just write down the important terms for the topic and also a quick recap on the most important points I need to remember for the exam. Afterwards, I did some more chemistry exercises. This time it was for a different chapter. And if you're wondering, when I study at home, I like to put on some study music. And for this day, I was using music from brain.fm, which is a great website for good study music, I think, and I like to listen to that music while studying chemistry because it keeps me very focused. And then afterwards, I went back to more English because English and Chem were the only stuff I studied that evening, and I went through some flashcards on how to analyze unseen poems because I would be having a test on unseen poems the next day as well. At around 9:10, I went back to some notes that our English teacher gave us last year, and these notes are also on how to analyze unseen poetry, and I'm just going through them with my highlighters and highlighting the important points. Because I only started studying for my literature test that evening, and the test was next day, so I only had 1 day to prepare for the test, and so I had to cram everything in really quickly. So I just highlighted my notes because that makes it easier for me to remember all the stuff. And I did all this English work until 10 o'clock because usually on school nights I force myself to shut down at 10 o'clock and start getting ready to go to bed because if I work any later I know I won't get enough sleep. So on weekdays I will usually stop studying at 10 o'clock and get ready for the night. Before I go to bed, I will go back to my bullet journal and tick off all the tasks I finished throughout the day, and I will also fill in my tracker and my gratitude log and all that stuff. and then I will read a book or maybe go on my phone, and I will go to sleep at 10:30 because I try to maintain this normal sleep schedule of sleeping at 10:30 on weekdays because I need to get enough sleep for school. As I mentioned earlier, this video is a collab with Revising on YouTube, and she also made a video on her after school study routine, so you should definitely go check out her channel and watch that video because her videos are also great. She also makes study related videos on her channel, so it's kind of like mine, and you should definitely go subscribe to her because her videos are amazing. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Bye!